Happy Friday, everyone. Yes, it's officially Friday. The end of the week is here. The beginning of the weekend is starting. And this live feed, ladies and gentlemen, is in response to Dara Khosrowshahi, the Uber CEO, sending out a letter to all drivers and to all riders. I want to remind everyone in these trying times, right, that Black lives matter, all lives matter, drivers' lives matter, riders' lives matter, gig workers' lives matter. When I read Dara's email, and I'm going to read it out, I'm going to comment on this afterwards, I question the timing. I question Dara Khosrowshahi's, I question John Zimmer's silence for years when a lot has been going on in the rideshare industry that has to do with this topic. It's a hard topic. A lot of people can't talk about it. A lot of people would rather shelve it. A lot of people would rather hide. A lot of people will come out and protest. A lot of people will join the movement. A lot of people will wake up. A lot of people will think, right? That's what 2020 has brought us. But when I read a letter like this, I question the motives. I question the motives back to back. One says, hey, we'll give $1 million to these organizations, to the Black community. I think that's a great idea, Dara, because guess who's paid for that? We've paid for that, the drivers. So I'm all for giving $1 million to these great causes, because the people that actually made that money are the drivers and the riders who paid for it. So if the drivers and riders can actually donate, you got to take ownership of this. We need to take ownership of this, and that this is our money that we generated along with the riders, and then we're giving that back to the Black Lives Matter movement. So he tries to take the credit that Uber is donating $1 million. John Zimmer comes out during this topic and says, we're donating $500,000. I need to remind John Zimmer that we are the people that earn that $500,000. So I'm all for the $500,000 going to this fantastic cause. I'm all for the $1 million going to this fantastic cause, because I know it was generated by drivers, and I know riders paid for those trips. So it's our money. So it should be seen as a gesture from us to the community. But to remain silent all these years, when there were rapes in cars, murders in cars, racial tensions in cars, nothing. I never saw Dara. I never saw Dara once. Brutal murders, both ways, black and white. I never heard from Dara. I never heard from John Zimmer. But suddenly, here comes this great opportunity for us to talk about it. And I'm glad they are talking about it, right? At least they are talking about it. And he says, let me start by saying, I wish I never had to send this email. I wish that the lives of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, God bless them all, and countless others weren't so violently cut short. I wish that institutional racism and the police violence it gives rise to didn't cause their deaths. I wish that all members of our Black community felt safe enough to move around their cities without fear. I wish that I didn't have to try to find the words to explain all of this to my 2 young sons, he writes. Before I say anything else, please allow me to say to you clearly and unequivocally, Black Lives Matter. Many of the people who work on Uber's platform in America are Black, and some have faced racist harassment, including from law enforcement when simply trying to work. I know that many of you face racial injustice every day. And while as a company, we pride ourselves on providing access to flexible work, no matter the color of your skin, we also know there are situations where we have fallen short in supporting you. Right now, most of all, I want you to know we have your back. This week has given me hope that change is possible, and I want Uber to be part of that change. That is why we're making a number of commitments that we will uphold not just this week, but for years to come. We are committed to driving lasting change through criminal justice reform. On Sunday, we announced a $1 million donation to the Equal Justice Initiative and Center for Policing Equity to support the important work in making racial justice in America more than just a promise. We are committed to supporting the Black community as a starting point. We will use Uber Eats to promote Black-owned restaurants. And in the coming weeks, we will cover the cost to provide discounted rides to Black-owned small businesses who have been hit hard by COVID-19 to help in their recovery. We are committed to building a community that treats everyone equally and respectfully. We do not tolerate discrimination, harassment, or racism on our platform, as outlined in our community guidelines. We will hold everyone accountable to these standards of basic human decency, including when customers treat you with disrespect. I sent an email earlier today respectfully asking Uber riders and Uber Eats customers who are not willing to abide by these rules to delete our apps. We are committed to improving independent work in America, as we know that racial justice is also rooted in economic security. The status quo isn't good enough. That's why we're fighting for policies that will let you choose independent work while strengthening your financial safety net so that you and your loved ones have protection if you are injured on the job or get sick. We have more to do here, and we are committed to working with you and policymakers to make that reality. I want to express my deepest gratitude to those of you who continue to help move essential workers, bring people food, and support our communities during this difficult time. Thank you for everything you're doing, and please stay safe. Dara Khosrowshahi, the CEO. Now I want to jump into the live feed. I have Donicom, Jay, Michael, Ziggy, Robert Hunicke, and many more in the house. People, real drivers that have driven real riders and interact with all colors every single day, right? And have worked for these companies, one or both, for many, many years. And today, Dara comes out and sets the stage, as of many other companies and people come out, which I think is important. But he's talking here to the choir and saying, you know what, we're going to do all of these things. We're going to do this in the future. But I question why he has been so silent for all those years. I question why Travis Kalanick has been so silent. I question why John Zimmer and Logan Green have been so silent on this topic. You know, our community here, our live stream, our house, as we call it, we've grown together. You guys know, every time we have a troll or a racist or a KKK member in the house, we kick them out because we don't tolerate racism. We haven't just been doing it today. We've been doing this for years, right? Because we understand, drivers understand what's wrong and right. And I also believe riders understand what's wrong and right. And if you didn't understand that and suddenly got your wake-up call because everything came down like a lightning bolt after the George Floyd murder, rightfully so. The movement, the protests started, and a lot of people started waking up in 2020. And they may have been in-closet racists for years and years and years, right? So I think it's good that we can change, that we can wake up, that we can work on our perspective, that we can work on ourselves, that we can grow. Thomas, love you, brother. San Diego Rideshare Pro, appreciate that. We can work on ourselves and we can all push for a better future. But when I hear these words from Dara, I haven't seen any action along these lines for all the time I've known him. When he says we are committed to improving independent work in America. No, you're not. You and Tony West misclassified workers. You and Tony West never created a financial safety net for drivers that were servicing your riders. You weren't there during the pandemic to offer PPE. You weren't there to pay out health insurance and the sick people that were pleading and pleading and pleading for your help. So I question you, Dara and John, where were you in the most trying times? Where were you over the years when all of these rapes, murders, and everything took place? On your apps. You weren't there. Never once did you come out onto the stage and say, what happened on that day to that driver, what happened on that day to that rider was wrong and we need to change it. Today, you seize the opportunity and you use $1 million of our monies we generated. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you, this is a donation from you. This is a donation you need to be proud of, not them. You generated this money. Riders paid for it. You created the dollars. You created the $1 million. This is from you. Own it, right? When he talks, we are donating $1 million. No, it's the drivers and the riders that have generated this money and are giving it back to the Black Lives Matter movement. Same with Lyft. It's the $500,000 that we, the drivers, generated and the riders paid for that we gave back to the Black Lives Matter movement. We've always been involved. We always try to put out fires or calm angry people or upset people down in cars. We have these conversations and they're tough. I just question the timing. And everything that I've seen from these two companies in the past is insincere. So it's really, really, really hard for me to acknowledge this letter. I want to, and I'm 100% in on the BLM movement, and I'm 100% in supporting the protesters. But to capitalize on this during these times, I think is rather shameful. Godonicom says, because they do not want to be seen as racist, they want to be seen in a good light and they want to make change, so they say. Correct, 100% correct. But they've been put in many of these situations in the past. There have been many, many press releases about this, and they were very silent. They never spoke up. They never made these type of donations back then when they knew this was going on, right? You know in your heart if this is wrong, right? You also know in your DNA if you are a racist, and then that racism could come from you growing up around a racist father or a racist mother that always belittled black people. You inherited that part of your DNA, and suddenly you realize, wow, I was brainwashed by my parents, right? I'm at a protest. This is actually pretty beautiful. This is awesome. I think I need to change. That can happen. And that's a wonderful thing. If you grow, if you move, if you educate yourself, if you step out of that toxic environment, right? But the companies, Uber and Lyft, have always operated in a very deceitful, toxic environment. You know, Tony West rewriting the laws to hurt workers, right? To hurt his own black people, right? Tony West, his own black people. You know, whether you were black, Chinese, Arab, white, Mexican, I don't care. He was out there hurting all of them by fudging the laws, rewriting the laws, not paying them properly, not creating a financial safety net, not creating a health net, but always working against the drivers and always cozying up to the riders. And suddenly they are on the stage. And when in one of my videos, I called out Tony West because he flew over to South Africa, went on holiday, went to the motherland, to Africa, and then he actually went to a person that I worked for. I worked for their family, for the Nelson Mandela family for 3 years. He went to the prison cell and he took pictures of himself in Nelson Mandela's prison cell and he made some statement. And I'm saying, what a hypocrite you are, Tony West. In there in South Africa, in Nelson Mandela's prison cell, but back at home, you treating your own brothers and sisters like crap. You're working against them. The company is working against them. The company has never done anything for racial injustice. The company has never done anything against the sexism at work. We have another racist in the house. Sorry, I have to kick this guy out. Obsidian, I don't support racists, my friends. Sorry, buddy. Got to kick that guy out. It's time to think. It's time for Derek K to think, right? Is he going to do everything premeditated, pre-orchestrated? Or is he actually going to be willing to show humanity and meet with drivers and understand what's going on in that world? Are all of these companies, these gig company CEOs, these gig company executives, are they willing to meet with their workers and employers? Is Jeff Bezos willing to come down to that level and show humanity towards his warehouse workers? Is DoorDash, is Grubhub, is Postmates, is Uber Eats, is Uber, is Lyft? Are their executives willing to be human and understand how they are exploiting gig workers worldwide? All lives matter, my friend. Dara, remember these words, all lives matter. And we should matter to your company as well, just as George Floyd matters to every US citizen, to every global citizen, right? So you got to put things into perspective, Dara and John, and understand that you are not walking the walk and talking the talk. You can issue an email and you can make a donation on behalf of us because we generated this money. That doesn't make your wrongs right. You have to start acting and showing that you actually care for the labor force, for the workforce, for the people, instead of writing laws to hurt them, instead of writing laws to financially harm them, to harm their families, instead of writing laws to not give them the health benefits, etc., that they deserve, especially during the pandemic, especially when we were waiting for PPE, especially because we were branded essential. You never treated us essential, but you're treating this day as an essential day. You're treating this opportunity as an essential opportunity to market, to win friends with our money, with our $1 million, with our $500,000 from Lyft. And that's correct, John. All lives matter. Every life matters. Every animal's life matters, right? See a dog or cat walking through the street. You have stuff going on in your life, you're raging. You kick a hound, you kick a cat. Their lives matter just as much as your lives matter. Don't confuse the two. I don't want to make this too long. I don't have to say much more than this. I wanted to show you how both these companies, back to back, try to outdo each other. Lyft and Uber, back to back. I said it yesterday. Watch what Uber's going to do, right? I said Uber is going to come out with a statement or going to offer more money. I said, just watch. And in the typical fashion, in that typical don't want to be outdone marketing fashion, they had to top it with $1 million. Look, I'm all for 500,000 and $1 million going to the right causes. And you know why? Because it's the money that you and I generated. And I have the right to question their silence for all the years when they mistreated people. I have the right to question that. Because what I do know, since I've been in this rideshare game, in the limo game, in the customer service game for a long, long, long time, that these issues are real. It depends how you handle them. It depends on how you approach them. It depends on how you treat people. So this is not new for us. We know this topic, right? We've seen this topic live many a times. 3,000 trips, 5,000 trips, 15,000 trips, 1,500 trips. You have seen this topic many a times. And many times they had the opportunity to address this, or at least come out with a statement, or at least say what happened on that and that day with that and that person was wrong. I didn't hear anything. Food for thought, my friends. Now, and by the way, guys, I'm already running out of my quarantine snacks. I need more. So it's time to go shopping for quarantine snacks. And I wish you all an amazing weekend. I hope you all stay safe. I hope you all give your children, your loved ones, a big hug. I hope we go more caring into the weekend with open eyes, open ears, and we allow ourselves to process what's happening around us, and we grow from that. And I want to say thank you to all the people in this stream, all the subscribers that participate, that bring real issues, real issues, some fun, some hurtful, some painful, some stressful, but we bring the real issues into the room. People want to learn about real issues. Come tap in here. Go plug in here. Take your plug and plug it in. Plug it into this channel and learn, right? And I urge, I challenge again all the executives of all gig worker companies to show more humanity, especially towards their workforce, their labor force, right? And come and meet with people on the floor. Come and meet with people in the parking lots. Come and meet with people on the street and engage and show you care. Show you genuinely care. Because if you apparently care about this, you should care about every human, because all lives matter. Drivers' lives matter. Riders' lives matter. Restaurant lives matter. Restaurant servers' lives matter. Every life matters, right? Step up. Gig worker executives, step up. Seize this moment. Don't politicize it. Don't advertise it. Don't marketize it. Just be real, be genuine, and come down and meet with the people. Come down from that throne and mix with the people and start, putting actions out there, not just words. We will send you the PPE. The PPE is coming. The PPE is on the way. No, we don't want words from you, gig work executives. We want real actions. And if you show that you really, really, really care, if you show that you write this and really, really, really care, seize the moment. Connect with a gig worker. Connect with a rider. And show that you want to make positive change. James Campbell, I appreciate you. I wish you all a fantastic weekend. Go out there, have fun. Go out there, stay safe. Whatever you need to do, right, to get through to 2021. I just think that this year here, my friends, this year meant to serve a purpose. You guys know, I know how much happened in 2020. A lot of things happened in 2020. So if we can get through 2020, we can get through anyone. God bless you all. Love you all. And until the next live feed, food for thought. Take care. Be safe, my friends. Thank you.